Bob Coppedge here, Crouch the Old Geek. It's been a while. I just want to talk a little bit about strategy in terms of IT. Where should your stuff be? Should your stuff be on premise? Should your stuff be in the cloud? Should it be hosted in the cloud or yours in the cloud? Whatever. I don't want to necessarily answer the question because, quite honestly, the answer is, as always, it depends. There are certain criteria about your organization that make it better to be on-prem, to better be under your control, to better be as a service, whatever. But let's face it, it's kind of nice, the idea that you're going to pay for something as a service, almost as a commodity. And just by paying that monthly fee, you know everything's going to be taken care of, everything's going to be right, and it's just going to be great. Now, let's talk about last week. Last week, we had a few things that happened out in the industry. Number one, Microsoft Office 365, Teams particularly. They're a huge collaborative, great, fantastic tool. We use it at Simplex-IT a ton. A great tool to use to collaborate both within your organization, external your organization, was offline for about a day. Why? Because Microsoft didn't renew a cert. Okay. Hey, these things happen. Come on. Yeah. Second, there was also an issue with Microsoft Windows 10 where the desktop search function didn't work for a large number of people because of a problem in the cloud. Basically, the way Microsoft was essentially forwarding searches. So, okay, another problem, another issue. But it's just Microsoft. Everybody else is okay. Third, a tool, one of the service providers that we're familiar with that actually uses, we use for some online documentation and all of that, they were offline for about 2 hours because of a cert. And then finally, Google, well, thank God, nothing's wrong with Google. Google essentially removed PostScript or PS printer support from Chrome kind of suddenly. So my point is not necessarily that any of these services are bad because stuff happens. And I'm amazed sometimes that this stuff works as well as it does. But what I am pointing out is the fact that to simply abdicate our responsibility for these services to the as a service, the subscription model, does not necessarily mean automatically everything's going to be perfect. Because quite honestly, stuff happens, things fail. And especially, even though this happened with Microsoft, in my opinion, with some of the smaller companies that are running on a basically on a prayer in terms of any profit margins are like those are those are challenging propositions to basically put your money with those guys, let alone the Microsofts, the Googles, and the other folks. So bottom line is don't automatically assume that everything's going to be working perfectly and you're going to have 100% uptime because quite honestly, that's aspirational at best, and the odds are you're not going to have it. But instead, play that what if. What happens if this service goes out for a period of time? What do you do? What do you do if this service goes out of business completely or the like? What are your plans? And it's a fairly simple process. What are your single points of failure for your organization? Whether they be internal because you have on premise resources or external because you have this stuff as a service. What are you going to do? Do you have this stuff backed up? Do you have an alternate plan? What are you going to do? Simple question. Is the answer simple? Bob Coppedge, Crouch the Old Geek.